What's going on, weather fans? It's Alex back here with your weather forecast. I hope you guys had a great New Year's and a great Christmas break. Mine was actually pretty good. It was pretty fun. I got a new time-lapse camera, I got a new strike finder. This channel will get a whole lot better. I'm telling you, these videos are gonna be a lot better now. And the laptop you see with the new display, that's my new laptop. And you see the new camera embedded into my screen, that's how my videos are gonna be looking out from now on. So I hope you guys like the display. Let's get right into things, okay? So, rewinding a little bit back, towards January 1st, New Year's Day, we had this very strong Arctic blast across the east here. And that was responsible for the snow squalls that developed New Year's Day morning, and it pummeled through Pennsylvania, New York, and then into New Jersey, Long Island, and then off the coast. Very heavy snow. I woke up at 4:40 a.m. and I was seeing a literal wall of snow, and there was zero visibility in there. It was just complete whiteout conditions. The thing that surprised me is the gusty winds. We got gusts over 50 miles per hour in parts of New Jersey. That was really impressive. Snow squalls blaring throughout the whole entire state of New Jersey. That's pretty uncommon, I'm not gonna lie. So that was really impressive. Yeah. And also, I was doing a video earlier, and I was talking about how this pattern later on is going to become very conducive for snowstorms. And what I realized is that I'm starting to realize what the European is starting to do, and it's starting to agree with me. So, we're going to take a look at the height pattern first, and let's see what has changed. As we said earlier, if we had that ridge more out here, this bowling ball trough would have digged like that to the U shape and then dived right into the East Coast. This would have been a major nor'easter if that happened. Because this time, it's not only the northern stream cooperating, this time, you had the southern stream energy. And if this just came up a bit more up the coast, we would have had a major nor'easter. Major nor'easter. But that did not happen. But don't worry, that's not the only chance we got. And we got a lot more than that. So, ridge starts moving east. And what you're going to start to notice is the reinforcement of that ridge. Look at that ridge by the time we get into the 9th and 10th. That's going to deliver some very warm conditions. 60s, even possibly 70s in Virginia, Pennsylvania, and southern New Jersey. Very possible. And then look at that big trough out in the central U.S. I'm going to start to beat down a bit. But that ridge, I'm telling you, that ridge, look at that positive PNA. That is a textbook structure of a positive PNA over there in Alaska. If you can see those reds right there, that is a classic positive PNA. That is your best type of pattern over there. Look at that. That is some really impressive stuff there. And watch this time frame. This is a big time trough in Texas. And this is the southern stream energy I was mentioning about in my video that I didn't upload yet. But I'm going to upload one now because I've been seeing some very interesting stuff. 13th, 14th, look at this. Now, instead of the, zeros, the 0Z showing a complete different look, now the 12Z has a southern stream, very powerful southern stream, and look at your northern stream starting to connect with this right here. That is going to be your major snowstorm potential. And watch what starts to happen as we get into that 14th time frame. It's really going to start to become apparent that there could be a major chance. Look at that cold air diving, and this right there could slam into the surface, and that could cause your major snowstorm potential right there. And as we go throughout the run, not much has changed. But I'm telling you, that 13th to 14th time frame. And let me just show you the preset for a bit, and I'm just going to show you what I'm talking about. Boom! Look at this. See, this is a southern stream moisture. Snow all the way down into southern Texas. That moisture climbs up. Boom! Major snowstorm for the I-95 corridor. Look at that heavy snow. That's what I'm talking about. This is what I was talking about. But the 0Z, if we go back to the 0Z, it showed completely different picture because the trough was a bit more disoriented. But now as we're taking a look at the 12Z, look at this massive snowstorm that we're starting to deal with on the 13th and 14th. And this could be a trend that I'm watching because I was mentioning that earlier in my video. Have that bit of a snow chance, but that chance between 14th and 15th, I am telling you right now, that is a big signal to watch. And I think that could be one of our major snowstorm potentials that I think could happen. And it could start trending that way. Look at that strong low pressure and watch how it tries to bomb off the Jersey coast. That is some very impressive stuff. And we even got some snow squalls moving in after that on the 3rd, 15th, and the 16th. And then on to the 18th. Man, it's just going to get so active. I'm telling you. Snow showers Monday, Tuesday, maybe a bit of a storm system by Wednesday, delivering some gusty winds. Friday, there could be some convective activity. And then by the time we get into next week, I'm telling you, by the time we get into the 14th, holy, yeah, this could get pretty insane if you ask me. That snowstorm chance is legit crazy. So, yeah, I mean, this is wild stuff. Really is. And now what's really starting to interest me. Now you're saying, oh, what about the GFS? I actually took a look at the GFS, and I'm starting to like what I'm seeing. And I'm really starting to like what I'm seeing. So this is your 18Z GFS. It's going to be pretty similar for this week. A little storm comes through Wednesday. A little bit more amplified trough coming in for Saturday. Look at that storm. That could be some pretty gusty winds. Some snow showers for Monday. But again, same time frame. Same time frame. Northern piece of northern energy doesn't really do that much. Clippers, Clippers, Clippers. But as the time we get in the end of the model run, look at this showing up. Look at this. And look at this. Look at that. We got snow all the way down into New Mexico. And this is just showing you how cold it's just gonna be across the whole entire U.S. Look at this. Look at that sizable snowstorm trying to develop for New England. Watching that. And then we got some more snow squall activity behind that. So if you take a look at the total snowfall in the GFS, solid 0.5 foot to 8 inches across the Mid-Atlantic. We will take that signal into consideration. We really will. Because if we go back to the 12Z, nothing. Literally nothing. And even like a coating to an inch. 60? Absolute nothing. So we're starting to trend snowier. And I'm telling you, the pattern that we were watching for several days now, and I mentioned that into my last video that I didn't upload, that same exact thing I mentioned, I'm telling you, this area right here, I'm really watching. Now, let's get into, northeast weather. Because I also want to watch something very closely for the weekend time frame as well. So, let's go to the European here. The European has been a domination of convective events. So, we're going to let the European slide here. And I'm just gonna show you. Friday, little bit of rain. But watch as we get into Saturday. This is what I'm talking about. This area right in here, I think we could have a severe storm chance. Not too huge, but could there be a marginal risk in this area here and extending all the way, let's say, into this area here? I'm really watching that chance, and that could be something very interesting here. But going into your Saturday, convective showers and storms rumble through Ohio River Valley, weaken. Watch what happens when we get to 7 p.m. New convection forms Sunday. Look at this. We got thunderstorms going all across the New England area. So it's starting to really interest me. But why are we seeing storms, Alex? Why are we seeing thunderstorm potential? It's going to make a lot more sense when we look at these temperatures. And if we look at the temperatures, it's going to tell you everything. So this is for your Saturday. getting into Saturday 1 p.m. Look at these 60s surging up north, almost like a warm sector. 7 p.m. crashes down, but we have another day of this. Wait. We don't? Okay, we don't. But I do know that the 12Z was much more crazy. Yeah, the 12Z. And look at that warm sector going into Saturday. I'm telling you, that warm sector is a bit concerning. 60s for southern New Jersey. And look at all this warmth near the Ohio Valley. That could be a severe weather catalyst for Saturday into Sunday. I'm watching that very closely. That beats down a bit. But then look at this. Saturday afternoon, we get up into the 60s, all the way up into Boston, and we got mid to upper 60s for Jersey. We got 70s for the Carolinas. This is starting to become a little bit more concerning that we may be dealing with some kind of severe weather potential. And if you actually take a look at the Cape, it kind of shows you what we're dealing with. It does show you elevated instability. So this could be very interesting. Are we going to see some kind of severe weather potential out of this? 63 degrees in central New Jersey. That is impressive stuff. Really is. And I will be watching that very closely. But until then, let's go into a little bit deeper. And you're going to see that Arctic surge really taking over. But it doesn't completely take over until that 15th to 16th time frame. Look how cold it gets. 7, 6, 5 degrees. This is some very cold air. And there are some negatives up north. However, that 0Z model did bring it more south, but you still get the idea. Still very cold. It is really, really cold. And it supports the idea that there could be some kind of storm system. Really sneaky, but look at this, what we're showing up on the 14th. This is a storm signal I'm really watching. A little bit too warm for that first one, but the second one, I'm telling you, it could get crazy. And I mean, just look at this bombing out low pressure. Heavy, wet snow. Yes. And then, man, this could be very interesting. And even taking a look here at the AIFS, let's see if the same storm signal kind of shows up. So this was for Friday into Saturday. Yeah, there is a front, probably a strong front moving through. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, even the AIFS has a bit of a low pressure developing. Let's take a look at our temperatures really quickly. Is it going to be cold enough? I think it could be cold enough for snow. And then let us see if there's any more other signals that we need to watch out for. And I think there might be one near the 19th and 20th if I'm correct. Yes, look at this. So there could be a bit of a southern slider with this. By the time we get into Saturday, I think that's going to be cold enough. Never mind. Not cold enough. Interesting. But I'm telling you, that 13 to 15 time frame, I'm watching very closely. Because models have been trending colder with this. And if they're trending colder, that means something. If the GFS and Euro show that same pattern, it's telling me something. 13th and 15th time frame. Keep that in mind. Because that could be a major storm system that will try to develop. And it could be pretty interesting. Even the AIFS shows some incredible warmth by the time we get into Saturday. Look at these temperatures surging up the East Coast. That is starting to scream to me. We could have a marginal risk easily in this area. Easily. We could seriously have a marginal risk. So, yeah. I'll see you guys later. And please, start to keep an eye out on the weather because it's going to get real bizarre by the time we get into not this week, but next week. Next week is a week that I'm really watching from the 12th to 19th. That week could be very, very hectic. And also watch out for the weekend. There could be some surprise thunderstorms. We'll have to watch out for that. But anyways, guys, I'll see you guys later. And, yeah, have a great rest of your night.